RMJ movie reviews back again. I'm actually not coming with a movie review, and I'm sorry, guys. It's been the month of October, and I have not done like any horror movie reviews at all. Um, I've just kind of taken a break a little bit from kind of doing YouTube videos. I've just been really tired lately, and just been through some been through been through some things. Not gonna particularly share, but been through some things. So I've just taken a break for a little while and took a step back. And I just haven't filmed anything. But the reason I made this video was because with it being October, there's a lot of YouTubers and other kind of movie. Well, we'll just stick it to YouTube. We'll stick it to this platform. And a lot of people have been doing all their little horror movie reviews and this things and that. And I came across one that particularly sparked a pretty good emotional reaction in me. And as I say, I'm 38 years old, so I'm a child of the 80s. And I've seen a couple reviews on YouTube for the 1987 classic that all of us know about who are in this age bracket, The Monster Squad. Where Dracula, the Wolfman, Creature from the Black Lagoon, Gilman, they all come together and these Goonie-esque style kids battle them. Okay, now for those of us who are in our late 30s and in our 40s, it's a classic. Excuse me, let me rephrase. For us true fans, it's a classic. It'll always be a classic. Um, I've been seeing little rumblings here and there, and this seems to be some sort of fad now. I think there's this new fad where the stuff that we grew up on that are classics. There seems to be this thing where it's like they want to go and hate on everything that is classic now, because I've been seeing little things here and there where they said even the Goonies ain't even all that. And any of us know if you said the Goonies ain't all that's just a sin. That's an automatic sin. I mean, I think that's deserving of execution. If you say the Goonies is no good. But there's a lot of stuff lately where, I mean, I've seen little things where people are hating on Nightmare on Elm Street 1, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I saw some other YouTuber where he was talking about the original Poltergeist 1982. Oh, the effects are cheesy. I'm like, what the hell am I missing here? What am I missing? And then these people will compare it. And what ticks me off is like, some of these people who are making the commentaries are people who didn't even grow up in the 80s. They didn't grow up in the 80s. They didn't grow up on the classics. And they're comparing things like Stranger Things and all these things that are taken from the classics. Basically, they're ripping off stuff from the classics to create this new little hodgepodge hybrid politically correct thing for streaming services and all that stuff. And then these guys and gals are going back and hating on the stuff from back in the day. I'm sick of it, man. And I'm trying to think of some other classics. Oh, and I heard someone else hating on Halloween 1. Oh, it's slow. It's slow. It's slow. Somebody said something else about Big Trouble in Little China. I'm like, what is this? But I don't want to go too far out of what I'm talking about, but there's like a big thing where like they're really going back and they're just hating on everything from back in the day. I saw something else where like somebody made a comparison between a Man of Steel and Richard Donner's Superman. Like, don't get me wrong, Richard Donner's Superman, the first two Chris Reeves films, and even Superman 3. I love those films. You know what I mean? I just love them. And I really like Man of Steel. And I even like Batman v Superman. Just take out that Justice League stuff and Eisenberg, Lex Luthor. I really like that movie. But they're two different entities, and I hate when you can't compare two different eras and styles of how you wrote and did movies to something that will be made today. It's a totally different class. That's you're talking almost 40, 30 something years ago. Times have changed, and I get that, but it's not even that. I don't think they're actually talking about the actual quality of it. They're just going back and hating on it just because it's in fad, just to hate on it. So anyway, they're going on and on about this particular view I saw. They're like, the Monster Squad is cheesy. It's cheesy. It's cheesy. There's a lot of musical montages. Of course, it was the 80s. What do you think they did in the 80s? It was MTV style editing in every single freaking movie or TV show you saw back then. Anybody who was in the 80s would know that. In the 80s, every Footloose, Breakin', uh, some kind of wonderful, The Breakfast Club, every single freaking movie, Miami Vice, the TV show, every medium, television or film had musical montages because MTV was big in showing these things called music videos. That's why there was a musical montage every 5 minutes in the Monster Squad. That was the style. That was how they told stories back then. That's why it has musical montages. And I heard something else about, oh, well, with the Monster Squad, the kids are saying bad language. Okay, guys. Now, I'm going to be calm in this reaction, but when I was on the playground in elementary school, that was how we talked. And I know I've seen people say, oh, well, it's bad for kids to talk that way. No, that was how we talked. We talked like that. We said some of the things that the kids say in this movie. And granted, the dialogue was written by 20-somethings who were kind of maybe going to their childhood. That was the way we talked, guys. That was the way we talked. This whining, it's bad, it's bad. Oh, there's a lot of horror and death because it was the 80s. It was made by people who snorted coke and then just pushed the kids on the set and said, say these lines. And their parents were so desperate to get their kids to be movie stars, they didn't care that their kids were shooting shotguns and killing monsters. Like, oh man, all this crying. Well, they don't explain how Dracula got the mansion, and you just don't know what's going on. What is there to know what's going on? Van Helsing tries to banish the creatures at the beginning of the movie. The creatures come back to present day, and the kids got to stop them. That's the damn story. You don't need to have some explanation and dialogue and some sort of long monologue to explain everything that's going on. And on top of that, the movie was cut in such a way so that it would be as brisk as it was. It was cut that way. So there were things that they took out, but basically they kind of shortened it and finessed it because that was the important parts of the movie. The important parts of the movie was kids running and screaming, killing monsters, monsters chasing them and killing people. That was the important part of this movie. Do you need all this finessing and cuddling and kind, politically correct dialogue? Is that what you need? Huh? Is that what you need? So you can really have the story really be flushed out? Is that what you need? A little coddling? Yeah, Stranger Things. Stranger Things only exists because of Monster Squad or the Goonies or Gremlins or Munchies or Ghoulies or all that stuff from back then. That's the reason Stranger Things exists now, because the people who made it are biting off of the movies from back then. So don't compare Stranger Things to Monster Squad. Monster Squad came first. Respect the elders, respect the vets. They led the way for Stranger Things. You wouldn't even have your little Stranger Things if it wasn't for Monster Squad or the Goonies. It's just like, well, it's cheesy. Some of the acting is bad. Well, for any one of you who've ever acted on a stage or remember dialogue, were you some sort of Shakespearean-esque thespian when you were 12 years old or 10? Huh? When you were 8 or 7, were you spouting off Samuel L. Jackson style Quentin Tarantino-esque dialogue with ease and hitting all your marks while you got 50,000 cameras in your face and people saying, come on, come on, come on, time is money, kid, get ready. Huh? Huh? I mean, like, this kills me. And then this whole thing about, well, it's bad to put kids in this situation because it's a damn scary movie. Okay? It was bad in Silence of the Lambs to have that chick locked up in that well and the guy skinning some chick upstairs. That was bad too. But you know what? It's a scary movie. It's meant to put you on edge. It's meant to frighten you, to make you feel uneasy. Is it too much for you? Do you feel a little bit too afraid? Huh? Maybe we need something a little bit more politically correct. Huh? 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 Would you feel a little bit better? Yeah, okay, I'll stop. I was gonna go somewhere I'm not gonna go. But yeah, it's meant to generate tension and fear. And it's just meant to be fun. So when Rudy comes in on his penny loafers and he smokes a cigarette, yeah, it's bad that a 14-year-old is smoking cigarettes, but you know what? That was the 80s. They didn't care. It was trying to be edgy. Edgy, guys. Okay, and I will give you maybe I will say kind of the only scene that maybe I only thing that I maybe object to a little bit now in Monster Squad is the little girl being called a B. I object a little bit to that. I think that is really the one thing that doesn't kind of sit well with me in watching the movie now, and it is a little bit uncomfortable. I'd like to know if any of you all out there actually did Cisco and Ebert review Monster Squad back then? Because I would have loved to have heard them cry and whine about that scene, which I'm sure they probably did if they did review it. But if anybody out there can find something on Cisco and Ebert doing Monster Squad, send me a link or let me know where I can find it because I want to hear all their whining and crying about that because I'm almost sure if they did review it, they cried about that scene. Probably top of the list, probably. But no, 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 no. Monster Squad ain't trying to be, it's not trying to win any awards. And Stranger Things is here because of Monster Squad. I mean, period. And all it's meant to be is kids cracking jokes and chasing monsters. That's all it's meant to be. It's not meant to be great storytelling. It's not meant to be these thespian-esque Daniel Day-Lewis actors where you know the background and where they came from and what their motivation is to trace Dracula. You don't have to know why Dracula drives a car and he turns into a bat, or why the Wolfman could be blown apart and then he come back together. You just need to know that they're scary monsters, that they kill people, and Dracula says, I need to find Van Helsing's diary, and if the kids don't give it back, you will kill them. That's what you need to know. That's all you need to know. Dangerous monsters, kids running from danger, they have to kill the monster. That's all you need to know. It's just meant to be fun. That's all it's meant to be, man. You guys need to get off that stuff, man. I don't know what it is, man. It's just like they're really trying to hate on things that have led the way, things that were like creatively very cool stuff. And they're just really just trying to just destroy everything that was cool, man. I don't get it, man. I really can't stand it, man. It just, man. I just had to get it off my chest. It drives me nuts, man. Leave comments down below about how you guys feel about like this hater, soft, just whiny culture we live in now, man. It's like just man, just I'll talk to you soon.